We're back. We are back. Market movers. Thursday feels a lot like a Friday. Justin, I saw you at the Yankees game last night. You got that over somehow in the last few innings. How
Oh
you
my
doing today,
God.
man?
I'm doing well. I got my ass bailed out a little bit. We were sitting there staring at like an 0-4 baseball night, but then I had the Drew Holiday prop hit on the live show, and I got the Yankees literally sitting there. Like I'm getting bothered to leave by a couple of my friends who are, we were there for like a birthday event. And a couple people, are like, oh man, we got like standing seats. We out there with the bleacher creatures, just having like a great time, couple drinks, but some people wanted to go. They're like, it's the bottom of the ninth. We thought we might be leaving early, but we're sitting here. It's a tie game. They've scored 6 runs in the final 2 innings. But yeah, glad we didn't leave. We were sitting there about to go, and they hit the final walk-off home run. But it was a blast. Got the win. Made a bunch of money on it. I admittedly put a little too much money on the game because I was there, but it paid for my tickets. Paid for the drinks. Pretty much the perfect scenario. So. My voice is still a little like hurt today, but we got a great slate of baseball. Yankees actually first pitch is in 25 minutes. So we'll probably talk about that game first. Definitely talk about the NBA. How about you, Mike? How you doing? How's your day going?
I'm great. I was supposed to play tennis this morning. Got canceled. Other than that, I wasn't mad about it. I was a little sore this morning anyway, so wasn't looking forward to getting out there sweating on the tennis court that early anyway. So other than that, life is good. We got afternoon baseball. My Kansas City Royals against your New York Yankees. I will say I did call them on the money lineup against the Garrett Cole game and the over that day. But I'm glad you were able to profit on it last night, and you're going right back to it. I know we already gave this on the Sportsline Early Edge today, but you want to hit this one again before it throws the first pitch?
Please. Yeah, I'll happily talk about this. So definitely going to be going in with Jameson Taillon. I think that we're going to try to eliminate the Yankees bullpen from the equation by sticking to the F5. Only really playing where I think the starting pitchers will be mostly involved. And, if one of them's coming out early before the end of the 5th, we've either really won our bet or we've lost. So like if that's happening, you're at a polar situation at that point. So I really like the first 5 line because Taillon does have such an incredible difference in his. I have to make sure I'm not messing up Taillon and Montgomery. I literally cannot keep the two.
Yeah, it's Jameson Taillon today.
Okay. I don't know why.
And your play is on the first 5 run line, correct?
Run line, right? Yeah. So I don't mind the money line either, but like I don't love laying the juice. The Yankees definitely could have this, could lose this, but I really do think that they'll be up. I'm not really a huge fan of what's been going on with the Kansas City Royals pitching. Kind of looked to fade it last night. It didn't exactly happen. But I believe tonight is it Singer tonight? You would probably know better. I'm all.
It's Keller. Keller's pitching today. This afternoon.
They have the same
I think
syllable.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, there's one piece of news that I think is big, and that's going to be that Salvador Perez is still going to play, but he is not going to catch. That is nice defensively for sure. I'm not sure if the catcher who is playing today, if he's ever caught Keller before.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
An interesting piece of news when you're talking about someone like that making a start at Yankee Stadium. It's also a very early start time for them. In general, it's basically it's a super early start time. Let's see. Sebastian Riviero. Sebastian Riviero is catching for Brad Keller. I might look like an idiot because maybe it's happened before, but I want to say I'm very confident that he has never caught a Brad Keller start before. Interesting that Perez is still going to DH. I know he's a little banged up, but it's definitely something to notice. To note, I think that it's not insignificant at all, and definitely plays into the side that you're on here.
Yeah, I'm definitely into it. I think we're gonna get, maybe, as you said, maybe a little bit worse of a called game. Signs can get crossed up. I mean, framing, understanding, how a pitcher's pitches break as a catcher is very important too. So yeah, I'm definitely into it. Last night was really interesting. I mean, Chapman obviously a little bit upset. He walked in the tying run last night, so I don't think that he's going to be involved tonight. So I don't really want to play the Yankees on a full game. I'm a little bit worried about what their bullpen's going to put out. Even what's his name? Britain struggled last night, So I'm not really too confident at the end of this game what's going to happen. I think that means there's probably value on the Kansas City Royals again, plus money to come back and win this game late, or threaten to like they did. I don't mind taking Montgomery at home, or Tyone. Here I go again. Tyone definitely at home is a lot better. I think he's like a 11.1 ERA away from Yankee Stadium and 3.29 at home, which is just absurd at some level. So,
yep. All right. Next game is one that I happen to have a play on, the Oakland A's. I know you may not want to talk about the Oakland A's after last night, but I like the spot for him quite a bit. Colby Allard for the Rangers, left-handed pitcher, has been pretty good, has very good expected data as well. However, I think that when you get to these division matchups, they're ones that teams really scout a lot more. They put a lot more effort into it because they have, significantly more time against these teams. Mm-hmm. I like the way this sets up for the Oakland A's. So Allard, basically, he's going to throw mostly the four-seam fastball and the cut fastball. And he doesn't have a lot of velocity, right? So we're talking 92 is like the maximum velocity that he can throw. And the cutter's sitting at 86. His changeup is at 85. He's not really using the changeup enough. Like 70% of his pitch is going to be the two. It's going to be the fastball and the cut fastball, right? So you go look at some of the outcomes and data on these pitches. His batting average allowed on the fastball and the cutter, 260, 286. The slugging on both is over 500. The ISO's up to 250 on both of those two pitches. It's down at 1.113, 118 on the curve and the change, but he's not able to throw either one of those pitches often enough. He's not comfortable throwing them, really, in my opinion. So I think that they're going to be sitting on these two pitches in particular. I think they've got enough power. I think that I love them against left-handed pitching. So it goes against Broski here in the chat, who's on Texas First Five with Joey Gallo. Obviously, Gallo is always a threat. But I'm on the A's First Five run line, and I'm also on the A's money line, seeing a little bit of movement. Looks like I'm going to get about 10 cents of closing line value on this one. They're up to minus 145 at William Hill. Haven't looked at DraftKings. I'm guessing DraftKings will probably have them closer to 150, as they're generally going to be 4 to 5 cents worse in these spots with a team that's favored.
Yeah, I mean, I totally
145
agree.
still. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And quickly to answer the question that I missed 5 minutes ago, Pinstripe Pilsner. I actually went with the classic Budweiser last night. I'm not really a Bud Light guy, and they just don't have a lot of options. I think I had Corona too, so a little beach vibe towards the end of the night. But it was a good time. But anyway, yeah, I think that the Athletics are looked to bounce back. This is the fourth game of the series, and I know usually people look at the series the first three games in these spots. But I don't think that the A's want to lose 3 out of 4 to the Rangers here. They've already, they've dropped the first two of the first 3. So yeah, I'm going to be, I already had this one locked in from last night just because, I'm sitting there taking a loss on my run line, and I'm like, all right, well, if it's not going to be last night, it's going to be the next night. And it does sort of work like that a little bit. And when you like a team and the way they match up with multiple pitchers, it's not the worst thing in the world to bet an entire series. Like I did bet the entire Astros series, and I'm very, very happy that I did. That one was obvious, right? And so we're gonna, we'll transition right into sort of that next game, because I talked about this on the show, and I definitely want to talk a little bit in depth about why I'm going minus 2.5 runs today on the Astros. I don't really, we try to keep it a little brief on the show. I did get a little bit of, hey, like, be a little faster, buddy. But that's okay. I'm still learning. No, I'm playing. I obviously could feel it, but I have so much I want to say, which is part of the problem. But the distribution of results in terms of a team like the Astros going against a pitcher like Urena, who again is pretty freaking awful. He should allow a lot of runs tonight, and the difference between them winning by 2 and winning by 3 is likely going to be pretty small. I mean, the Tigers can probably muster up 4 to 5 runs. Like, don't count them out, but I see the Astros, like, again, blowing through totals on their own. eclipsing 7 or 8 runs. And when you get to that level of offense, it's just the average output of a team like the Tigers is something like 3.7 runs a game, or sometimes I think it's been closer to 4.2 over the last 30 days or so. So like, I'm not really worried about a team that's scoring 8 to 9 runs a game going up against a team that's scoring 3 to 4 to 5. So it's just, you really do get good value to bet on this Astros team, because essentially the books are saying they're like 48% chance to do this. And you're like, well, when they win, they usually win by a lot. So I'll take it. I'll go with it. And I'm getting, I think, plus 105, -2.5 on the Astros today.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. That's definitely how I would want to play them. Let's see. Do you hate grabbing -2 to take away the loss condition? Under -120, I think it's okay if that's really what your preference is. I don't hate it to win the bet. There's it's if you really want, right. It's the exact same win condition. If the push is really significant and important to you, I don't mind it if you're talking -120 or less. But if I were to play this game, it's the exact same way that you're going to play it. And that's going to be on the alternate run line. I'm not, obviously there's no chance I'm laying the money line in that spot, but I think that there's some news that helps your cause here also. Robbie Grossman, Miguel Cabrera, both questionable to play today for the Tigers. Two guys that still have enough pop in the bat to potentially cause trouble. I think that Grossman, it's kind of really funny to say it, but Grossman's probably more important than Miguel Cabrera in this lineup. It's just, that's where we are at this point in Miguel Cabrera's career. But Grossman as a switch hitter leading off at the top of the lineup, if he's unavailable to play, he's meaningful to this Tigers offense.
I agree. Definitely don't hate hearing that news. I mean, this line opened up at, I believe, like -207 last night. And I think it was at like more like -210, and the money line's now -230. So like, the thing is that the public still piles on to the Astros at these huge lines. They don't really care, because there's people out there who just want winners. And the problem is that, the Astros will need to win better than 2 out of every 3 games at that price in order for you to be profitable. And look, they'll threaten it, but it's going to be tough. So I don't recommend going and play them on the money line. I don't hate paying. I believe it was -140 this morning. Again, we could talk a little bit about the movement. It's -150 now or so on the standard run line. That's getting a little heavy. So at that point, I'm probably going to that 2-run, that 2.5 run. But I don't like laying -150, -1.5. Like that's getting bet heavily.
Yeah, for sure. First 5 is what the question is. We're seeing a lot of, that was the question. It's the same price. Essentially the first 5 run line is going to come back at -150 at William Hill right now. Getting a little steep for me, but if you want to, I think it's fine. Obviously they have to be winning the game at the end of 5. I think it's a fine bet. It's juiced, obviously, at this point. They're massive favorites, but they should get the win there. I won't be playing it personally. I'll just have a lot of Houston Astros stacks in daily fantasy tonight.
Yeah, I like when you say that to me. It didn't exactly work last night, but it is usually a good sign that the analysis is on the same page. Again, I'm not really going to go into Fulte a little too much. He somehow escaped with only 2 earned runs. He gave up I think 6 hits. So that was just a little unlucky in my humble opinion. And that's going to happen, right? Like, you're going to get really lucky. You're going to go on a 12-2 run, and then you're going to get unlucky, and you're going to, follow it up with like a 2-4 couple of days. No, it's 2-4. I've only lost 2 units over the last 2 days. So it's not even that bad. I'm not going to sit around and complain. We're going to get our analysis to hit sometimes, and we're going to sit there and we're going to kick dust sometimes when, the Milwaukee Brewers give up 2 solo home runs at the end of the game and you don't get your cover. It's just c'est la vie at some level. But all right. Let's move
Orioles,
on.
Blue Jays.
Yes, please. This is a really interesting one for me.
Very interesting. The total opened 11.5.
Yeah.
Crazy, right? For a second I was like, did the Blue Jays move back to Florida? Like, are they back in Florida for this game? They are not, but yeah, it's 11.5. It has quickly come down to 10.5 across the market, a full run down. Very interesting that it opened at 11.5. I can't imagine why it wouldn't have opened at 10.5, frankly, but I did not beat the market on time to get there under 11.5. I probably wish I would have. I don't know how long it was available at 11.5, but I can't imagine it was very long.
It was
safe to
almost
say that
never 11.5. It was almost
Okay.
instantly down to 11 last night around 2 a.m. So
yeah, that makes sense. Like I said, I didn't see it at that point, but I mean, I believe it. It opens, things open at crazy numbers.
it was
all the
minus
time.
120 under at 11.5 though. So yeah, it really only happened for like an instant, and it would move pretty quick. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? I mean, initial thinking is that the Blue Jays are heavy favorites. 66% expected win percentage given minus 200 line. Are you with it? You think they win? I mean, Dean Kremer 0-6, 6.2 ERA. And now he has to face the Blue Jays, who, Anthony K 0-something, 6.42 ERA. I don't know. I tend to think that one team's offense is much better than the other, and I don't hate maybe a run line play here, honestly.
Yeah, Kremer's bad. 358 expected weighted on base average, expected slugging over 500. Not great. Tough spot to play, or tough spot team to play against. I will say the Orioles are still pretty damn good against left-handed pitching.
They are.
Likely where some of the love for the over initially was maybe coming from some people. I think 10.5 is the appropriate number. I actually have it at 10.3. If you want to play them on the run line, I think it's fine. I also don't hate the idea of going alternate run line like you're doing on the Houston Astros. That one I would expect you would be able to get it, down quite a bit. Let me see if I can find what the number is on minus 2.5. So that would be the way I would play it. If you want to play the Blue Jays today, I would actually play at minus 2.5 plus 140. I like that a lot more personally, but it is not something anyone's really going to ever tell you to do, betting a alternate run line on a home team like this. It's going to require some pretty big domination to make this one happen, but it's definitely there. It's well within the range of outcomes in the simulations. So high variance spot for sure. It's just a matter of which Orioles team shows up. They could easily be up 3-0 at the end of the first, but they hit lefties well still. They do, but.
Yeah, I agree. But the team has sort of just been slumping a little bit. I think, coming off of travel, coming from, I believe did they play yesterday? Yeah, they did play yesterday. They got clobbered yesterday again, right? So, then they have to go travel a little bit, and it's not terrible, but it's still not great. And I don't really see them, winning on a end of the week type of game. If this was like a Tuesday game or something, I could see it more. And I don't hate the value on the Orioles if you are that type of player who's like, maybe anything that gets that much steam on it, it's almost 20 cents different than when it opened. You can get Orioles plus 170 instead of like plus 155. I don't know. I would not play money line again. I'm not putting a full unit on an alternate run line here like I am with the Astros. This would be like, a 0.25 type of sprinkle, quarter of a unit, third of a unit type of play. And then, after that, I'm probably just staying away from it. Again, maybe a first 5 run line could be interesting too. But again, like you said, the Orioles could clobber this left-handed starter out of the game kind of quickly, but I don't hate the Blue Jays to, figure them out with the bullpen and come back and win it. It's the Orioles. So we'll see.
Yep. This one I'm going to highlight because I know you talked about it a few times. It's probably also coming from, on the early edge. I've mentioned certain times in general where it's just like really positive weather trends across the entire slate, really negative weather trends across the entire slate. Do you want to talk about this one at all? And have you played it today? I don't ever really. I used to play these like 5, 6. I guess I'm older now. It's probably like 7 or 8 years ago now when I would play things like this. But I mean, I think there are small edges at times to doing stuff like this, but I think you really have to pick your spots.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. You know, you want to look at weather data, you want to actually almost go game by game, you want to look at sharp signals, you want to, you know, take a good look at things. And actually, when you said that the hitting conditions were bad, I believe what it was that was on Tuesday.
Mhm.
I did go take a look at the numbers. I believe the Grand Salami under that day was 129 and a half. The games finished, I believe, at 121, and that was pretty sweat free if you ask me for a grand salami. Like 8 run difference is a
Yeah.
big deal. You're probably going to come in between 3 to 4 runs, so it's a heck of a sweaty bet. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, I
It's a lot of fun for
personally,
sure.
yeah, I don't know how you necessarily, like, you can't have like a formula. There's no way to quantify it. You do have so many independent events happening that you just are you're taking your best educated guess. Like, I'm not sitting here and modeling the grand salami,
Yeah.
you know, because there's just
So
so much variance.
yeah, I think that there are a few things you can look for. You know, if you're someone at home want to write this down, as coach would say, grab your pen, grab your paper, things like that. But one thing I want you to look for when you do this, you're going to want to look for situations where there are an abnormal number of road favorites, right? So if we want run scoring, you're looking for unders and overs. But when you're looking for the over, which is the majority of people, we all love betting overs, right? It's just more fun, right? So if you're looking towards the over, look for days where you can pinpoint and identify that we have a lot of road favorites, because where these bets go wrong or right is likely going to happen in the last inning of the game, right? That's how efficient the market is going to be. If we find situations where like a team like the Astros can pile on 6 runs in an inning very frequently, right? Guaranteeing them a ninth inning team at bat when they are expected to beat the crap out of a team is an
Mhm.
awesome thing, right? Which is what they have on their road today. The Oakland A's, for example, huge boost in overall run scoring in this matchup, in this environment. They are guaranteed a ninth inning team at bat. So look for situations like that. If you find like really powerful offenses that are guaranteed that ninth inning team at bat, you're guaranteed the home team is trailing in the ninth. There's look for little things like that, because there's going to be in your, whether it's your simulations, whether it's your head, whatever it is, when you're looking at making a play on this over 54 and a half or whatever, or 97 and a half today that it is, there's
Yep.
likely going to be 4 to 5 teams that you think are going to really help carry that bet, right?
Yes,
Or
exactly.
games. So look for those kind of situations, or the reverse of that. If you're maybe looking at the
For the
under, for
record.
example, right? So like when the Dodgers are major favorites at home, the Yankees are big favorites at home. Like you're losing out a half inning in multiple games by doing that. So just something to think about when you guys are playing those. I don't, for the record, I don't play them. So
Yeah, I play them pretty sparingly. I throw, like, I don't even play full units on them. You know, it's like a half unit type of play for me, something sort of just fun. But I do think today's probably a decent day for that over, honestly.
yeah.
I
Mhm.
know that there's a lot of big run scoring potential tonight. There's some bad pitchers going tonight. There's some good teams on the road tonight. There's some great weather conditions tonight. A couple games, like, you know, are at good hitting parks. You have Great American Ballpark is in play this evening. Hitting conditions at in commercial look better than average. Hitting conditions in Minnesota look better than average. You know, I think that, you know, you're going to have some risks. There's definitely going to be games that go under. At the end of the day, you need to basically, like, playing the grand salami is either you saying, like, okay, let's sort of break it down. You're either saying that you think the net of all the games is going to be an over, and in the same sense you could technically go bet every single over and you would expect to win in the same fashion, in my opinion.
Mhm.
But you, with the grand salami, you say, okay, well, if a game that I think is going to go over doesn't really get as far as I need it to, I can get carried by another game. And the only way I would recommend betting the Grand Salami is A, if you're trying to just, you know, donkey around and have a good time, it's fine. Or B, if you don't really know which game it's going to be that's going to be carrying you. Like, if you know, oh, game X is the game I think is going to carry the Grand Salami, I urge you to just bet that over. You know, there's you're taking on a lot of variance in something that has, you know, 11 independent games occurring. So just some
Yep.
thoughts.
Yeah, the other thing, you always want to check the numbers and everything that you see. So unless I'm missing something, the line that Ben proposed here was 97.5.
Yeah.
There's one game that's not up on the board at William Hill yet. And that's going to be the Braves and the Reds because there's no starting pitcher there.
Yeah.
If I blindly assume that game is going to go off at 11, it's probably not. It's probably going to be 10.5.
Yeah.
Adding up all the totals that are posted, unless I'm missing another game, which I don't think that I am, it's only adding up to like 92.5 runs. And the line here is 97.5. So
like you might have
very,
yeah.
Yeah, very much shaded towards the over. But again, it's going to be different based on what the sportsbook's offering to you. But step number one is going to be once all of the games are available on your sportsbook, make sure they're all there. Because sometimes, like I said, William Hill does not have the Braves game posted yet because there's not a starting pitcher. Once you see that, at least go add it up and see, like, are they shading this thing to the over 3 runs? If so, maybe consider, right? Obviously, it's still probably going to come in close, but at least look at it. It's a lot like you see odds boosts. You see other things like you see odds boosts all the time when it's like an LA special or a Chicago special for all 3 teams to win on the money line. And that odds boost you're getting is the same price or worse than if you were to go build the 3-game parlay yourself in the app. So,
yep.
Yeah, just watch out for it.
Yeah, I mean, look, these books are there to make money, right? These are
sure.
businesses that, you know, understand how their industry works better than you do, probably better than I do, maybe not better than Mike does. But, you know, it's just, it's a little tough. It's tough. And they know how to sort of entice you. We talk about like what the numbers in American odds systems mean. And you could argue that the American odds system is purposely used in order to skew what people think about how much money they're betting and what percentages they're getting. If they gave you flat odds, you would probably have a very different reaction because you can gauge 64.5% way better than you can minus 205, you know? So it's tough and it takes a lot of experience and, you know, but the idea is to try to figure out ways in order to get the best value out of the book. Again, you know, creating your own parlays when they tell you, oh, look at this, we made this for you. It's like, well, why would you do that if it's going to hurt you in the long run? You know, it's just like everybody usually does things in business in order to help themselves. Like I am not sitting here talking about betting and all of this just because, you know, I do love it. I freaking love this crap.
Of course.
But, you know, but it does help me create my career and grow and all of that. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with being upfront about it, but the betting industry isn't going to say, well, we're here just to win your money. Like everyone knows it. But you know, it's you got to go in with that mindset. It's you against the book at the end of the day.
Yep. All right. Let's see. You already hit on Boston. You hit on Boston Tampa on the early edge, right?
I did.
Yeah.
On over.
Yep. Braves Reds, we could touch on that one quick. This is one that I obviously am frustrated at this morning because it's one I would have hit the over on hard very quickly before the market moved. Unfortunately, there's no starting pitching info for the Braves, but I think this is the best game of the season so far at Great American Ballpark in terms of hitting environment. It's the air density index is approaching the 50s, right at 60, might be 59. Positive EMIs for both, 88 degrees, humidity climbing, going to be 50% plus. Really, really, really great spot there for run scoring. The only caveats there, obviously, we don't know the starting pitcher, and Ronald Acuna Jr. was scratched from the game last night. He's listed as questionable today, but I have a feeling this thing would have opened 10.5. I would have played it there. Now my gut says that depending on who's starting, it's going to open at 11 and we're going to have missed our opportunity.
Yeah, again, this is one that I think is going to weigh heavily on that grand salami. If you've been betting with me this year, you know I've made a good deal of money off of that Reds over at home. I'm a little suspect of it tonight. Again, if it opens at 10.5, I'm going to be hesitant. This is also probably a ballpark where it could get to 14 very easily, and the distribution of the numbers will tell you that it's probably in the cards. Again, depending on who the Reds announce as a starter. Kind of important that we know what's going on.
It's the Braves that don't have the starter announced, and I just checked.
Yeah,
DraftKings does have it up now. I don't know when it went up because
Wow.
I didn't see it earlier, but it is 10.5. There's no starter listed, but they still got the total posted. Perhaps they're watching and know that I said I thought it would be 10.5 as well. Yeah, 10.5 from FanDuel. Yeah, I wanted 10.5. 10.5 is, I think it's fine to go blindly grab it at this point, but make sure you're getting it as close to even money as possible, and definitely get it before 11.
Yeah, I'm definitely with it. I do think it can get past double digits today. It's not going to make my official sheet at 10.5, but I might go take a little swing at it myself.
Yep. Makes sense. Let's see. What do we have next? Marlins Nationals. We can hit that one quickly, I think.
What do you think? What do you think about that? Anything jump off the page? I didn't really see too much on the weather about that one.
I'd say the only thing, well, yeah, it's because it's in Miami and they're going to close the roof. I mean, I don't know what's up with me. I was wrong the other day. They did not open the roof on the perfect day to have the roof open in Miami. I was stunned that they did not. Looks like it's going to be closed again. That's going to help Joe Ross quite a bit, who's actually someone we've picked on a good bit, especially early in the season. I don't have a lot of thoughts on it. Honestly, I think it's a pretty easy stay away. With the roof closed, my numbers are quite efficient on the total. So not one that I really wanted to have a part of. I'm not anxious to back Joe Ross. So, yeah.
I'm with you.
Let's see.
So, yeah, it's going to really quickly, as we sort of, continue to go here, Mike and I have finally decided to nail down an actual schedule. We're going to be bringing the show to you live Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So no more, oh, are you going live today? What's going to go on? Well, yeah. And look, it's we've had a lot of things sort of brewing behind the scenes for a while. The Sports Line, we are expanding over there. We're doing these daily shows at 5 now. So Mike and I are, I think, involved with about 3 of those each a week. So we want to sort of figure out what's going on, when we're available to come to you guys and give information that you maybe haven't heard. So I think this is going to work out pretty nicely. Again, I'll leave it down there for a while just so anyone sort of dropping by can get that. We're going to stick to it so that when you're going to get a little bit more of these deeper explanations from us during the week. So that's kind of fun. That's exciting. I do love this show. It's a little more freeform for us. We get to sort of go deeper.
Yep. No doubt. The schedule should be nice. Like I said, we could do it 5 days a week, but it really, when we're doing that live show on Sportsline, when we're both here and then both going to be there a few hours later, it's a lot. And we need you to be over there watching and consuming all of that content as well. So we definitely appreciate everyone stopping by on that. Definitely leave that up on the screen for everyone, but I love that schedule. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I could probably hook you up on the scroll there. Indians, Twins, and Pirates, Cardinals, 2 games that are beautiful in terms of overall hitting conditions, right? Both games in the 50s on the air density index, positive VMIs. The average VMI total for each team is like plus 5.5 or more. Really great spots. Do you like either of these or anything here?
Yeah, I have the Twins over on my personal sheet from last night.
Nice.
I caught it at minus 110. Again, got in about 10 cents of movement. I don't know if it's going to hit. I just knew that I'd be making money against the market, and in the long run, that'll win me money. So I do that at night. I go and I use like I like a small unit. I think I do about $30, which is like my throw around unit. I usually bet around 100, 150 now, actually, with how big the bankroll has gotten over the last month.
Yeah.
So that's 30 is about 0.2 for me at this point. So I'll go through and I'll drop 0.2 units on like a couple things where I'm like, well, when the world wakes up tomorrow and sees that you can get the Astros at minus 195, it's going to be 230 by the middle of the day. And it's just like, oh, okay, well, I was right about that. And in the long run, again, I should lose less money, which means I should take more profit on the same scenarios as other people betting on the same games. So again, I do like this Cleveland Indians' chance to, hit up Jose Barrios. I'm not his biggest fan. I don't know if that's the Yankee fan in me. I don't think that he is all that. He does give up big spots. His Indians lineup can sort of come alive every now and then, and they're a little due. And on the other side, I think the Twins are, slowly looking more like themselves. I do believe Donaldson's playing today, so that'll help. So.
Yep, he's listed as questionable, but I think that he probably plays based on the line that I'm seeing here as well. But yeah, overall, excellent environment. If you like the game, not comfortable with one side of it, I don't hate the over on the team total on the Twins side, but I didn't play it. I will most definitely have a few of them in daily fantasy, most likely a full stack if Donaldson is in. That'll include Nelson Cruz, Josh Donaldson for sure. Next one, Chad Kuhl, Carlos Martinez for the Pirates and the Cardinals. This one's always fun. Always fun. Where is this one in the market now? How much? 9. I like the over in this one. It's at 9 minus 105. I might add this to my play. I love the hitting conditions overall. I only have it at 9.2 runs, but yeah, I know. And Chad Kuhl himself is not exactly all-star, right?
The Cardinals lineup has been a little worrisome for sure. I mean, I'm seeing a couple other models coming in at like 8.4. Again, that both these lineups can kind of fall flat. But both these pitchers could throw meatballs, and these are still professional ball players. So I definitely tend to think that it will go more towards a little Italian tonight. We get a couple meatballs across the plate. The VMI numbers are great. The air density's in the 50s. I didn't see too much of a distinct weather boost, but it looks like the air density and the consistency at which these teams have played in this environment will help them.
Definitely. I like this spot a lot for the Cardinals, but what do I know? The Cardinals let me down pretty big earlier this week in that matchup. For sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. I wanted to look at some of the Chad Kuhl's pitching real quick, but you can keep talking if you want to. I lost where I had it up.
No worries. Big wind blowing out at Busch Stadium 2 tonight. Always going to help. It's sort of pushing towards left field a little bit, but again, I'm not really going to be complaining too much. It might harm a couple drives out, like line drives out to right field, but other than that, pretty happy about it. Mike might jump in with some Chad Kuhl numbers, but I'm not seeing anything too crazy here. I'm actually having there it is. My baseball savant wasn't loading. No, I mean, the expected numbers on the pitchers tonight for Martinez are really what's going to jump off the board. He has a 15.6% K rate, which, I mean, that's like, again, it's going to be bottom like 10% of the league. Kuhl is also right there at 17%. These guys both have bad expecting batting averages. If they face, I don't know how many batters, let's say they face like 36 batters, I'm honestly expecting close to 7 or 8 hits tonight. So, it could be messy. This one could be an interesting spot to take like an over in like the total runs, hits, and errors. Like, I know that's an interesting bet that people don't really catch on to too much, but that's an interesting way to play overs, because even if you don't get those runs, like if you have a game where the hitting's crazy, but you're just not getting the runs in, and somehow there's 12 hits and 4 runs, you're probably still cashing the runs, hits, errors. So I know my book offers that. I'm not sure how many others do, but it's an interesting one for sure.
Definitely. I think that there's another thing that's kind of interesting on Chad Kuhl, right? He didn't used to throw his fastball much. He used to really throw the sinking fastball. He'd throw the sinker and the slider a lot. He's thrown the fastball more this year, than he has in his career. His four-seam fastball, right? 278 is the batting average allowed, 611 slugging, 333 ISO on that four-seam fastball. That is absolutely ridiculous. I think that the Cardinals crush him in this spot personally, but haven't played it all yet. I would have to go in and make some manual adjustments with some of this stuff to really get there. But the lean is over in the game. the lean is on the Cardinals and Carlos Martinez to figure some things out just a little bit. I still think he is a more talented player between the two of them at this point, but that's where I'm at now. But I'm very interested in that, the weather and everything impacting his sinker tonight. And if he doesn't have command of the sinker or slider, if he has to throw that four-seam fastball more, I don't think that's going to be good news for him against this Cardinals lineup.
Cool. Yep. I'm with you. I definitely, you know, these NL Central battles can get a little sticky. So division, I'd be very interested to look at like how divisional games have done on the over under this season, because I feel like the familiarity with the teams lends to more offense than defense, because, you know, it's like the Julius Randle problem for the Knicks, right? If you only see a guy once in a season and you don't have all week to prepare for him and you don't know what's coming every time, he's going to beat you. But when you have you see him every freaking day and you know what you're going to do, you're going to be able to shut him down. And that happens with, you know, what I talked about with my Reds and Red Sox play and Rays over. It's just these teams see each other all the time. They know the pitching coaches. They know how the mechanics are taught from other teams. Like there's no mystery left anymore between these teams. So you oftentimes see guys who have extensive batting histories against these pitchers. You know, they're able to figure out signs and how they pitch and the way they approach hitters. Like it's all on tape. And when you play someone 17 times a year, it just gets interesting. So yeah. But all right.
One more thing on the Chad Kuhl. It's always interesting. I don't have this data automated, so I always have to go in and look. And then this is where some of the human element comes in and I start to make more and more adjustments. Worth noting, some minor drop in velocity on Chad Kuhl from the last part of the season. You know, talking back to April 21st to June 21st, lost about 1 mile per hour on the four-seam fastball, lost over like 1.2 miles per hour on the sinker. The changeup is down 0.8 of a mile per hour. The slider is down. The curveball is down 1.7 miles per hour. Yep. Little drop in velocity for Chad Kuhl now versus 2 months ago in April. So
I'm with you. Montgomery or Tyone. I gotta stop. I don't know why. I feel like they might look similar. But Tyone got through a opening Whit Merrifield hit and ground out, strikeout, ground out. So that's pretty nice. The Yankees are up again. Aaron Judge homer. We are off and running.
There, you're in business.
We are in business. That's exactly what we want to see with the second at bat for the Yankees. So we just need the score to hold, and we will have our first win of the day. But yeah, that's fun. But yeah, we got one more.
Last one.
Yeah, last one. I'm just reading some comments here. I know we were mostly up top about the grind, but if you guys had anything big you'd put a sprinkle on. Again, I really like Mike's athletics play tonight. I'll tell you that much.
That's this afternoon. That first pitch is in like 30 minutes. I believe.
I would have told you to put it on the Yankees' first 5 run line, honestly. I mean, the picks that I put up on the site and that I talk about on the show in the mornings, especially, those are the ones I feel the most confident about. After that, it's really just like my personal plays, volume plays off of the models I use. And I don't really share much. People, I guess, have started asking if they can, start seeing like the way I use the data for volume plays, but it just doesn't correlate too well with how like the Sportsline model works. I don't want to drop 15 plays on the site every day. It's just going to be a mess. And then people are going to need to cherry pick picks. And then you're not letting me handicap for you. And that's kind of what I'm here to do. But all right, Cubs and Dodgers. Any thoughts?
Yep. I mean, you hear this from me probably twice a week now. This one most definitely falls in the category of if you want to blindly play the plus 230 money line, I think that you're fine to do it. It's a team that is healthy, right? So you've got Peterson, Bryant, Baez, Rizzo, Contreras, Hayward's in the lineup, Happ is back. Like this is essentially the Chicago Cubs at full strength, right? Yes. So knowing you have the Chicago Cubs at full strength and you're giving a positive pitching environment overall to Zach Davies, Mookie Betts is listed as questionable to play in the game. There's no Corey Seager. Like it's not a massive watered down lineup, but all things considered, getting them at plus 230 against this Dodgers lineup is not the worst thing in the world. Again, not the play for you just stopping in wanting to play today, but
Right.
I can guarantee you that if you've done it every single time that I've said to do it on market movers, you would without a doubt be profitable.
Right.
For sure.
I mean, this is a little bit of market bias. This is a little bit of, the Dodgers are at home. They just lost a couple games. Everyone's like, oh, the Dodgers are supposed to win. It's what we call a letdown spot. So, and you're getting it at a good price at the end of the day. And, you probably don't want to do this for, half of your bankroll. You probably barely want to do this for half of a unit. Which again is a percent of your bankroll, or maybe 2%, depending on how you play. But here we usually don't advise going over 2% for one unit. But yeah, it's usually how it goes. So you do have house money probably coming in if you've been playing some of the stuff that we just give out like that. Cubs plus 1.5. This has some legs. Again, you're not going to get nearly the odds and
plus 110 is the payout.
Yeah. My biggest issue there is the difference in the distribution of how the results are going to come. I don't see the Cubs losing a 1-run game here. I see them either winning or losing relatively badly. And I mean, I might be proven wrong, but the Dodgers are a team that cover when they win a lot of the times. And I don't know that the Cubs are going to be keeping pace with them if the Dodgers put on a winning performance.
So I do like the question though, Mike Smart here. I tell you, there are two things that I would do. Yeah, Mike is smart. It's smart. It's a good name. Yeah. Smart name. One thing I would consider doing, if you like that play at plus 1.5, strongly consider playing the Cubs' first 5 run line plus half a run. So basically you're getting games tied. You win this bet, right? Games tied at the end of 5. That's coming back at plus 140. I like the payout at plus 140 a lot more than I like them plus 1.5 at plus 110. So if you want to do that, you can have some sort of combination play between the first 5 run line plus a half a run plus 140 and that full game money line plus 230. But ultimately, we're saying the same thing, though, right? We're saying we expect a competitive game. We think the market is pretty inflated on the Dodgers side with them at home as a massive favorite. So play it however you're comfortable with there. But the point is, which is the point that you're taking, there's value on the Chicago Cubs. It's just one of those, are you committed to seeking that value throughout the course of the season or not?
Yep. I mean, that's, again, it should be a really interesting one. Talking about value. Brad Keller is doing Brad Keller things, 2 singles since the home run. We love to see it. But we can talk maybe a little bit about a donkey of the day.
There you go.
I actually put one on my action app last night for anyone who follows me there. Again, Justin Perri. And it was destroyed by the donkiest of the donkeys, as I'm assuming you could guess, but it had the Bucks. And so, I got everything but that, which is obviously just a little funny. We hit Yankees, we hit Astros, we hit Brewers, we hit White Sox, all on the money line. Literally every single one of those winning by just a run. None of the except Houston, sorry, they obviously won by 13. But 3 of them winning by a single run. So, I'm probably going back to a heavy favorite donkey parlay today of the Blue Jays. Probably going to throw in the Astros. I mean, these are the teams that you probably wanted to get last night if you wanted anywhere near decent odds. Take the Dodgers minus 260 and probably even take the Twins minus 185. So little 4-leg donkey of the day. Astros, Blue Jays, Dodgers, Twins. That's going to come back plus 356. So we're not doing soccer in the donkey anymore. I'm not even going to bother with basketball. These are now pure baseball donkeys. Okay. So again, Astros, Blue Jays, Dodgers, Twins. It's going to always be on my action app. You can follow me there. That usually has the sports line plays put up right as they go up, because I don't want to ruin the surprise, because you have to pay for my picks. Or watch my shows. But
last question here for today. Any good umpire notes for these games? So we don't have a lot of umpire data right now. There are new series starting today, so we don't have some of that data yet. Generally, once the series starts, we know, because the umpires will rotate counterclockwise around the mound. So whoever's going to be at first base tonight is going to be your home plate umpire for tomorrow. So if you are savvy enough, have access to the data, things like that, you can look at that and be prepared and maybe get ahead of it a little bit. If you're someone who is interested in trying to bet opening lines, overnight lines as they come out, umpires, barring any sort of injury, sickness, unforeseen circumstance, they're going to rotate counterclockwise around the mound. So first base umpire today is the home plate umpire tomorrow.
Right. So we'll note them. We'll have a little bit more information of that on tomorrow's show. I'm not sure if I'm going to be available for that. I am going on a mini vacation to Philadelphia this weekend. So, I mean,
Justin is always going on vacations. You're winning too much recently. You are getting taken to Yankees games. You're traveling a lot. Hey, the world is open. I'm not going to complain. I do the same. So I love it.
This summer we'll have Market Movers live, one stream, watch out for that. That might happen in July or August. So you heard it here first.
We're gonna have a Nashville stream for sure. A little tennis match out here.
There we go.
Yep. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you soon.